Dave McKay with Ampco Pumps. I'm assembler and service technician. Today we're going to retime a 5G 2000. Start by taking off the cover bolts. Then remove the cover. Then remove the casing. Those bolts, put them in the opposite holes. We'll use that for a jacking port to take the mid-body or casing off. Now we loosen the breather vent, remove that, and the oil fill. Then we line this up with the gears inside to lock the gears and remove the rotor nuts. Might take a couple tries. You have to get the threads all the way down to there, or you're not going to lock it, and you could break the end of that off in the gears, then you have bigger problems. Now remove the rotor nuts. The rotor nuts are 2 different sizes. They fit each for what they are. Now we remove the rotors. Now we have to remove the collar, the drive shaft rotor. This nut has to come off, so you use the rotor nut from the driven shaft on the drive shaft. First we remove this nut. Then you use the driven shaft nut on the drive shaft to remove the collar. Then the driven shaft rotor gets put on. Then that rotor nut goes on, the one that matches that shaft. That'll be torqued to the specifications in the manual. Once that's torqued, you take your drive shaft rotor and install the collar in here, lining up these splines, the wide spline with the wide opening there. Okay. Then you take the rotor and spin it on. This requires, a 2000 requires a between screw tolerance of 5,000. So I start with a 6,000 and I put it in so that you rotate this rotor and it tightens up on the shaft, and at the same time compresses this seal. This seal is already compressed, so we're going to compress that seal and hold this in there nice and tight. The reason is, once we get the collar where it's supposed to be and we put on the rotor nut, it'll move the rotor that much farther to release this. So we start by this. They call it a green nut in the manual, but it's not green. We're just going to call it the nut. As we tighten that up, it's moving this collar backwards onto the shaft. Tighten it up by hand, and in the manual they'll have what you should reach with that. So this is a 2000, so by hand you should have 63 hundredths of an inch. Take your caliper, measure that so that you have 63 hundredths. Then it tells you to tighten it at that point another 8 thousandths. At that point then, check if we're still tight, install your rotor nut to torque. Torque specs are in the manual. Remove your gear lock or breather vent. Rotate your rotors. And then check your tolerance. Rotors are timed. Then reinstall your cover or your casing. Cover back on. Torque those to specs of the manual. Then reinstall your breather pipe, breather vent, and locking mechanism. and your oil fill plug. And then tighten them down.